Okay, we stub our toe on the same table. This is your setup, Frank. Um, what is this sameness of the table? We can talk about that table. We have signs that somehow are or refer to that table. The being of that table, it's unity. It's your pain, your stubbed toe had a for you-ness. When you stubbed your toe, other people in the world didn't, they weren't startled and grabbing their feet, right? That you were alone with that pain. And yet you referred it to a table that is in the world with others. And as you say, maybe it's you and me, right? We both stubbed our toe. We're like, that damned table. We want to warn other people. So our pain is converted into knowledge. And we need the sign, right? We need some sort of sign that in some way is the table. Now, obviously, the sound is not the table. I think they're called vervet monkeys, but they have several different cries that announce different predators in the area. So what does the cry, the predator cry, mean, right? If you hear the predator cry as a monkey, it means immediately nearby predator. So it's almost like the sound, you move right through the sound to the danger of the oncoming but unseen predator. And I read from Heidegger. He was talking about signs and how, like, for children and so-called primitive people who are not like all self-conscious and theoretical, the sign still is the object itself, or you might say that it's an aspect of the object. So, for these monkeys, the predator cry is a manifestation of the unseen predator, almost like a kind of virtual extension, like a tentacle, right? And the tentacle won't eat you, but the sound is like the tentacle of a predator that you might still be able to escape. It is lived as the onset of the predator, and that is why the sign works. And notice that its significance is largely affective. I mean, it makes you feel something, right? Like a gunshot. I used to have some rowdy neighbors, and they would be firing off guns for no good reason, and we lived in the city. It's very startling. It's not a neutral sound. And one of the things I liked about Bakhtin, he talks about, like, the words we choose, there's always this sort of judgmental, evaluative import or surplus, right? So there's this sort of vision of this cold, pure, mechanical, mathematical logic. And we can approximate something like that. Like, formal systems are like that, and chess is kind of exciting because the rules are so crystalline that even though there's great passion behind the game, there's this control on some core of what you might call mechanical meaning, right? So this is like what is left of God for many people, and this is why the scientific image, viewed as a kind of merciless crystalline machine, it's a beautiful vision. There's dark beauty in it. So people, I run into people like on the forum for many years. They just love humiliating believers who like can't face the dark truth. But the dark truth is a beautiful truth, if terrible, right? It actually echoes the book of Job. The terrible transmoral face of God, and I sort of trust the science, kind of like normal people, right? Like, this is obviously not anti-scientific, but I'm trying to point out this kind of irrational surplus that people sort of disavow in certain poses. And even being a philosopher, the idea that you're trying to picture a reality, an objective reality, that is itself a kind of prejudicial comportment, an inherited comportment, right? But within that comportment, it's obviously what philosophy is, right? So if you even try to question objective reality, those people are initially deaf to whatever you say. Right? They can only comport themselves to your signs as attempts to picture some distant but very important thing that they call objective reality. I'm kind of riffing, so I would say that if you wanted to try to demystify objective reality and to sort of give the concept its due, you could, understand the scientific image, as Sellers calls it, the body of up-to-date scientific theory is a kind of useful map that is supposed to work for any of its, competently educated users. So any agent should be able to use this same map, and that is the objectivity of the map. And that is why when you measure things, you don't write down how you felt about the measurement. One of the more stable things we can do is like find these numerical properties of objects. Well, the thing is, 22.3 inches long. However I feel about it today, I'm not going to write that down, right? Because I'm trying to construct a map that is value deficient from the beginning, but that itself is valuable because I want to create a system that helps people predict and control independently of whatever mood they happen to be in, right? So it's interesting that this map that strips off the affective significance of reality intentionally and strategically is then within this same sort of affective life world reality offered as a true reality, when it's fairly obviously this very impressive construction